talk show is brought to you by...
Hey, want to feel young again? Are you tired, run down, have aches and pains, brain fog? This is science-based, not hype or fancy marketing. It really works. Carbon 60 helps detoxify your body on the cellular level. It stabilizes free radicals, just like the antioxidants found in red wine and berries do, but on a far smaller, more bioavailable nanoscale. It's like a bottle of electrons, helping your body to function better. You can also apply it on your skin topically, over muscles, joints, or organs. Most people feel results within minutes. This is not a drug. It's organic carbon. Feel better today. About 95% of our users report more energy and clarity of mind within 10 days. Give us a call at Greska's Carbon 60 at 720-600-6040 or visit our site at c-60.com. Call 720-600-6040 and feel young again.
Everyone, welcome back to the iHealth channel, the nutritious channel, iHealth Radio with your host, Hurricane H. Again, today is going to be a fun day. I mean, first of all, I have some super special guests today, and it's going to sound funny because I always say the same thing. My guests are all special, but we're extra special today, literally, and you'll know what I'm talking about in a second. And nutrition, is part of health, and having the right supplements is an important piece. And there's a lot of that stuff out there, but you want something that is going to do the best job and make a difference in your health and really change your life for better, right? And so with me today I have two guests, and they're just, when you hear about them, you're gonna be like, whoa. So that's all I have to say. So I have first Bob Greska. He is the former NASA engineer and inventor, and he created Carbon 60, dietary supplement and topical mist, and we're going to talk about that deeper with him. You also have Erica Khan, and I believe that she's also worked with NASA, and I'll clarify that more in a second. I think Bob's going to give us a little bit of introduction on Erica, but when you're talking NASA. And by the way, I'm a fan of NASA's work in general. And by the way, the fun thing is that you're going to see that Bob is floating in space. No pun intended. So that's it. So NASA in the house, baby. But really, it's they do everything top notch. I mean, when you're looking at astronauts and the folks that work in that particular agency, they're just phenomenal folks. I mean, I've been to NASA personally multiple times, and I enjoy every time I go there. I've actually encountered some, astronauts in on set. I've seen some action there, and it is amazing the work they do. But the question always becomes, how do they do it when they go space, nutrition to stay healthy, zero gravity, all that stuff. But today we have someone who actually was an engineer there and invented this product. And we're going to talk about, there's also a presentation for you folks that we're going to be sharing here that's going to help you understand the dynamics of this product. So without any further ado, Bob, welcome to the show. Erica, welcome to the show.
Hurricane, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Yes, sir. It is your show, by the way.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Well, so Bob, let's take it, back to your background. Your NASA days and what got you into carbon, in general, and Carbon 60 specifically, into the supplement world.
Okay, I'll just make a quick story about how I mentored under the guy who developed fiber optics. So that was my high school education. He developed fiber optics, so that was a learning experience for me. But I've studied mechanical engineering, and in college, actually, I studied material science, which is the properties of materials. And mostly I studied the nonmetals, and specifically carbon, because carbon is a very interesting, it's like the hub of the periodic chart. Has four missing electrons, so it can bond once, bond twice, bond two double bonds, or bond a double bond and two single bonds. So it's got four ways to bond. So it's very interesting product, and that's what caught my attention. And I worked in the carbon fiber industry in the aerospace business, where I built a lot of spacecraft structures and frames and everything else like that. mostly, spaceships are made out of carbon fiber because it's very lightweight, very strong, has a very low coefficient of thermal expansion, so it doesn't expand and contract in space and throw your optics off. So that's what my carbon fiber is very good. And yeah, I did develop in 2012 a process, a methodology to produce carbon 60 without any contaminants, which is a big thing. They've used carbon 60 in lubricant additives, and they've used it in solar cells and so forth like that. But they all have they're all tainted with a little bit of solvents. In the process that I developed does not use any solvents. So it affords two things. They're much, much smaller in size, much more bioavailable, and they give a tremendous health benefit. And that's the benefit of carbon 60, and that's what we're here to talk about.
So we have that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if we can go to a slide now or not, or.
Well, sure. I mean, we can, I said, we can guide it your way. So you have something to throw in there. Let's do that.
Yeah, here we go. Can you see the slide up there now?
Yes, sir. The health benefits of carbon 60.
Okay, real good. Okay. So we can see that. Excellent. Well, that's what we're here to talk about. And carbon 60 it was only discovered in 1985. And then it was Nobel Prize in 96. That's the fastest thing that ever went through the Nobel Prize method, program.
Yep.
So and then the early 2000s, they started to look at carbon 60 and how it works. And we're looking at, we got some pictures here of some of the projects that I worked on. So let's put this out here. I worked on the shuttle tiles for the space shuttle. To give a little bit of my background, I was a process engineer for manufacturing the tiles for the first shuttle that flew. So I was a cook. I controlled the processing parameters. I worked on the external tank for the thermal protection. I worked on the manned maneuvering unit, which is that little backpack that went in space that made one person a satellite. I also developed the running shoes, the ones where they have the springs in them, like the Nike Air, the Z coils. Well, those are knockoffs of the technology I developed back in the 90s. I also developed a high altitude chamber, which simulates high altitude, which put the specific bicyclist on a Tour de France on the top. And I'm sure you know who he is. And but he started using my chamber and started winning races. And so that's what initially put him on the top. We simulate a high altitude, you build more red blood cells. And a lot of work, like I said, the last slide is a miniature rocket nozzle I did with carbon fiber. And that's for a carbon rocket nozzle. It's very small, and it's for when the satellites, they're up in orbit and they start to fall into the gravitational pull of the Earth. Eventually they slow down. These little rocket nozzles fired them back up so they could stay in orbit for a longer period of time. So
that's just small stuff that you've done, man. You've changed a lot of stuff for the world. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Some of that Star Wars stuff, absorbing laser, carbon's like 3 times as conductive as copper. So when you shoot a laser at it, it dissipates the heat. So that was a big advantage. So we put like a radiator coil behind it and suck the heat away. So when you get struck by a laser, Star Wars was real. I mean, people think, oh no, that's only space science fiction. No, but they shoot at these enemy satellites. We shoot a laser across the space and trying to melt a hole in you. And so you absorb the heat and dissipate it on the backside. The cold side of a spacecraft that's in the shade is minus 250 degrees Fahrenheit. The warm side, the hot side, is in plus 250. So, I mean, there's a big temperature difference. So whether you're in the sun or when you're in the shadows, you got 500-degree temperature differential. So that's where the carbon fiber came in handy otherwise things would warp and bend with that heat differential. But
I'm assuming the entrance, to Earth, the exit from Earth, all those angles, the windows, and all that things. We've seen it in terms of movies, and you have to get the right stuff to be able to get in. Otherwise, and you burn. We've seen in comets when they enter the atmosphere. I mean, sure. This is like where you protect, against that heat, concept, and therefore there is no, to your point. It doesn't dilate, and none of that expansion happens. So, but it's amazing stuff, man. I'm just looking at this and just like, wow.
Yeah. Well, let me we have Erica Kahn with us, and she's a biophysiologist. She graduated MIT. She's studied she worked at NASA. She studied a lot of the supplements and the physiology of people in space, because there's a lot of radiation up there, and the radiation does affect your cells in your body. So she studied quite a bit about that. She's very, very knowledgeable on carbon-60 and how it works in the body. So Erica Khan, you want to say hello? Hi.
Erica.
Oh, she's got her on mute. There she is.
Hi there.
Welcome to the show, Erica.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Right.
Well, like Bob said, I have my background is more biophysiology, not so much materials or anything like that. And I kind of came across C60 as a personal research project. I should probably just relate my story, and then that could segue into the research I did on it, because it was so phenomenal. I had done a 23andMe genetic test merely on a lark. I just was curious about my genetics and if there's anything I should be aware of. And when I got my results back, and this was probably 5 or 6 years ago now, I was rather surprised to see that I had some mutations in a gene for SOD, superoxide dismutase. And that is one of your body's own antioxidants that's responsible for managing oxidative stress. And what I inferred from my results was that this mutation might make me more susceptible to oxidative stress over the course of a lifetime. And if you've been in the medical field for any length of time, then you'll know that oxidative stress is a major contributor to degenerative diseases of all kinds. You could even say it's a driver of aging, a major driver of aging. I mean, it's essentially a form of rusting. So if you can shore up your antioxidant defenses, and we don't mean just obliterate them, or as I'm not using the right word here, but we don't want to eliminate all oxidative stress, because these free radicals, as we call them, that are created are also signaling molecules that will help the body detoxify, and many, many different types of reactions in the body do require oxidation. So I started looking at, well, if I have this genetic mutation with superoxide dismutase, is there anything I can do to help myself? And I started researching, well, what's available in terms of dietary supplements. And I came across 2 that would be available to the average person. I was already taking one of them, and I can't say that I really noticed anything from taking it. I just was taking it on faith, like we take a lot of supplements on faith. And then the second one was carbon-60, C60. And I knew enough about carbon-60 or C60 at that time to know that it was an industrial product, and I didn't think it would be a good idea to be taking some sort of industrial product for health purposes. I just couldn't accept. Why would I do that? But I was still intrigued, because I knew people were taking it at the time as a dietary supplement for anti-aging purposes. And I said, well, let me just look a little further. And I joined some online support groups, social media groups that were talking about it and people's experiences. And I just watched for a while. And there really wasn't anything that convinced me that I should probably take this based on what I was seeing, until I saw people talking about Bob Greska's carbon-60. And I thought, well, this one seems different. What's different about it? People were having different experiences. With the other brands, which I later learned were solvent extracted, the production process it's industrial. They use a lot of hideously toxic hydrocarbon solvents to render the final product. And those solvents do end up in the final product to some degree, depending on how good the processing or the finishing process is. And I could tell people were getting sick from the solvents in those products. So I almost walked away from it. And then I began hearing about Bob's product and reading about what people were experiencing. And the testimonials were so compelling. We weren't even testimonials. They were discussions, really. Nobody was trying to advertise anything. And what I read was so persuasive that I decided, well, okay, I've got to give this a try. And so I bought a bottle, and I was very apprehensive about taking it at first because it was new. It's a new dietary supplement. It hadn't been on the market for that long, and I didn't want to toxify myself. So I started off with just a little drop and waited to see if anything would happen. Nothing happened. A day went by. I took another drop. Nothing happened. And then I said, well, okay, let me take the 2/3 dropper full as recommended. And nothing happened right away, but then went to bed and got up the next morning, and something was different. And I felt refreshed, well-rested, rejuvenated. I had no lethargy. And I thought the last time I felt like this was when I was like 6 years old. What did I do differently? And I thought back, and well, I did take that C60 the day before. Could it be that? No, it couldn't be that. It's just a fluke. But I felt so good that day. I said, wow, I mean, what if it is that C60? So I waited a few more days, and I repeated it. And the same thing happened. Woke up the next morning and feel like $1 million. It's like, what? Okay, what is this stuff? So that set me off on a rabbit hole trying to figure out what is this stuff and how is it working and how is it having these phenomenal results like nothing I've ever taken before. And I mean, if this is a substitute for SOD, and it is, they have determined or established that carbon 60 is a natural SOD mimetic, meaning it does the same thing that your body's natural SOD does. And so I began researching it, and I was really blown away by its extraordinary ability to manage oxidative stress within the body to a point where it has this much of an effect that it could help you heal old injuries, providing enough, I would say, voltage or conductivity within a cell so that it can begin to heal itself. It can raise the pH of a cell so that it can absorb more oxygen. The list goes on and on. So that was 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm sold. It's one of the only dietary supplements that I would not want to be without if push came to shove. And you don't have to take a lot of it. That's the beauty of this product. It's in a nanoscale, 2/3 dropper full per day. I've seen miraculous recovery stories with people just using that. And it works for oxidative stress, and it works for toxicity, various types of intracellular toxins, mycotoxins, Lyme toxins, those types of toxins that tend to get stuck in a cell. Seem to respond very well to this form of carbon in terms of enabling the cell to neutralize these toxins and then expel them. So that's my story.
Oh, very good. Thanks, Erica.
That's a big one. Thank you, Erica.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, let's. I'll pick it up from here for a little bit here.
Sure.
We have two basic products, that we have. We have carbon 60 suspended in sunflower oil, which is an oral supplement. It's a 45-day supply. And then we have a topical mist, which is a spray-on. It's carbon 60 in water. And basically, you can spray that on topically over muscles, joints, sore wrist, or, as you get older, your knuckles get sore. You can spray it on that. People that have peripheral nerve pain, spray it on their nerve pain, and they can actually have feeling in the bottom of their feet again. And it works in fairly short order, too. It doesn't take very long for it to work. So we have two products, one in oil, one in water. And those are the two products. And we want to talk about the carbon 60 itself, the bioavailability. The product that we make is they're 20 nanometers in size, which is extremely, extremely small. If you get down to 20 nanometers, it's basically near the atomic scale. And so they're very bioavailable. For instance, a red blood cell, if you hollowed out a red blood cell, you could fit 200,000 of our 20 nanometer spheres inside of that red blood cell. So they're extremely 200,000 inside one red blood cell. So these go everywhere, and they seek out the positive charges of the molecules that are missing electrons, your free radicals, which are the common denominator for basically all health issues of the free radicals. So, and here's a picture of a free radical showing how, it's a molecule that's missing an electron. It's got an electron missing, and that's basically what a free radical. It doesn't function at this point. What happens with a free radical, that molecule will want to be stable and want another electron, so it will steal an electron from its neighbor. And so now that one's stable, but that molecule that's missing an electron wants to steal from its neighbor. And that domino effect, that cascade effect, is called oxidative stress. And it's very damaging to the cell. It's very disruptive. So just missing one electron, if you have several of them, it will destroy, your cells don't function. You get too many put together, too close together, they call it cancer. Some people call that cancer. Excuse me.
It's okay.
But that's what it is. It's a molecule that's missing an electron. The carbon-60 is, see the symmetry here. I don't know if we can get me back up there, but you can see my picture. I don't know if you can see this. The soccer ball shape of a carbon-60 molecule has 60 carbon atoms, and it's got a buzz of electrons going around it. Now, being that it's spherical in shape, it's structurally strong, so it can lose an electron and go back and still not collapse. So it can lose an electron and not collapse because it's structurally strong. And that's the shape is the big factor. That's why that's what makes the carbon-60 work. So when it gives up an electron, it stabilizes the free radical, stops the oxidative stress, and your body functions. And it doesn't matter where these free radicals are located. They can be in your eyeball, they can be in your liver, they can be on your myelin sheath. This is the common denominator for all health issues, or most all health issues, or almost all of them, that are missing electrons. So let's go, inflammation is caused by a molecule missing an electron. And that's why we spray the topical mist product on topically. It penetrates the skin. It floods that part of the body with these molecules. They are small enough to penetrate through the skin, through the muscles, through the bones, through everything, through the ligaments. And that's the beauty of the carbon-60 molecule. It's very penetrating. You don't have to put anything on it. People say, well, you ought to mix it with DMSO. We don't have to. They're so small. The water-based, you spray it on and it dries those tiny micro bubbles of water that hit your skin, they evaporate fairly quickly. And so it dries, so the carbon will actually not evaporate and go into your skin. And that's why you feel that. If you got like sunburn and stuff like that, it works very quickly. So let me see, what's the next slide here? Excuse me. You can get antioxidants from foods and vegetables, and like red wines and berries and so forth like that. But those molecules are very large in size. They're about the size of a red blood cell, so they're not very bioavailable. If we had the smallest of particle size that's available with the carbon-60 molecule, it's just so much. Instead of having an army of one, you got an army of 200,000. So that's how much better it works. And that's a big breakthrough. That's a breakthrough technology, and there's the smallness of size and ability to give up an electron. Free radicals cause oxidative stress. They damage these cells, your RNA, your DNA. They also, free radical also cause aging. They cause your cells to prematurely die at younger than they have to. So if you have too many free radicals, and that's why there have been studies out there that show that laboratory rats have lived actually longer by taking carbon-60 because they don't have that oxidative stress, and they don't get the sicknesses, the cancer and stuff like that. Most people within 4 days after taking carbon-60, approximately 95% of people report that they have more energy. They want to do something. They want to move around in 4 days. They have more energy. And it's not like a caffeine energy. It's more like, well, I ought to get that done. I ought to go do this. One of my favorite stories is this one lady. This guy gave it to this one lady who was sitting on the couch and gave it to his mom. She was 76-year-old sitting on the couch watching TV. And in 3 days, she got up and painted the front of the house, and then she painted the side of the house. And that's the kind of energy I'm talking about. You want to get up and do something, And that's a very simple story, but that's very typical. One of our slogans is 70 is the new 50 with Carbon 60. You look younger, you act younger, you think younger, and you feel younger. I mean, all across the board, and that's what helps you out. Now Carbon 60. The second thing that people most report, about 80% of the people in 8 to 10 days, they improves their brain function, their cognitive function. The Carbon 60 will cross the blood-brain barrier, activate those dormant those brain cells that you have going on, so your cognitive function improves. People can think better, they can think faster, they can think more clearer. I have many people that are crypto traders or stockbrokers or lawyers. They take my product. They said, I can think faster. There's no neurotoxicity or no toxicity of any kind found with our product. It was tested at Denver University, and they actually they did a few different studies there. They did one on a rat brain, and what they did, they took some of the cells and they put hydrogen peroxide, which is an natural oxidizer. And so when they gave that to the cells, they'd have 80% cell death in 24 hours. Now, when they put the Carbon 60 in there, in the water solution that we had 5 years ago, we haven't perfected the water solution. It took us a while to do that. And they put that in there, but it still protected the brain cells. They had only half the amount of cell death. They had 40% cell death in 24 hours with the Carbon 60 in the water. So it protects the oxidation damage that's caused with those with the hydrogen peroxide, the test material. We also noticed how it worked with on a traumatic brain injury. They did a mice study with traumatic brain injury, and after 10 days, or excuse me, a week after their traumatic brain injury, the control mice, they were still aloof but the ones with the Carbon 60 returned to baseline. So they recovered within 10 days from a traumatic brain injury. So that's an important factor. That was done at the Denver University. They did that testing on mice. So that was a very good study there. So let's talk about improved athletic performance. Your energy goes up. You can perform better. It reduces your fatigue. And you don't have that delayed onset muscle soreness. You can lift more weights, do more reps, perform better as an athlete. Matter of fact, every cyclist or any runner that's taken our product, they've taken first place. I know that sounds pretty incredible, true, but they've moved up in the ranks to, fourth in the state or something like that from being, coming in middle of the pack. So we have a cyclist we sponsor. He takes first place, calls me up every month, says, look, I won 2 more races. I took first place. And so we sponsor him with one of our, we have a shirt for him, that he wears, and we give him products. So he promotes the product out in the field. So athletic performance goes up. You feel better. You look younger. It's like going down to sea level. If you live up in the high altitude, you have more oxygen. You can perform better. So there's been many studies. Again, you can Google anything on the website. And not on the website, but on the internet, and you can put in Carbon 60 and any health issue and find it. Things like the influenza, the activity of Carbon 60 helps with the anti-influenza activity. It enhances the immune system. It helps against UV damage when you're out in the sun. Carbon 60. Now the UV light will come in and damage your skin and knock an electron off. Now, the Carbon 60, if you put it Carbon 60, either the oil or the topical mist, you can spray it on, it would actually give an electron back to their skin. You can actually feel your sunburn go away like almost instantaneously when you spray it on. I mean, it works that quick. It's like putting magnets together, and they just kind of attach to each other, that share the electron, and bingo, they work. Carbon 60 suppresses the inflammatory response. Inflammation goes away. We had one person that had, they couldn't hear very good in their ear, and they couldn't hear at all. They were deaf, and they had inflammation apparently in their ear because they put the Carbon 60 in their ear. Within 2 hours, they could start to hear, And then within the next day, they were on the phone with that ear. And she was getting fit for hearing aids. They said, you never hear again. And they were looking at doing laser surgery. So that was a very quick turnaround for her. That was my attorney's assistant that did that. There's also been a female biome study that was done where the biome of the female was all upset, and it produces, there's good bacteria and bad bacteria down there. And the bad bacteria kind of takes over it sometimes, and the good bacteria goes away. But with the carbon-60, applying it internally, they were able to turn that around so the good bacteria flourished and the bad bacteria went away. And according to the biome doctors that did the study and did the testing with this, they said there's nothing that works like this. They said this is the first thing that helps with the female biome. And so if you got any questions about it, please give us a call and we can talk about any situations. We can go through some anecdotal experiences that we've had. We've had thousands of phone calls of people. And so we got a story that is going to match yours or close to yours and discuss how it's going to work. So, okay.
Back to Erica.
Yeah, okay, Erica, you want to pick it up here? You got anything you can add to this?
No, you've covered quite a bit. I think some of your customer reports are really quite extraordinary, very unusual and very varied. And it does seem as though most any health issue can be, I don't want to say cured, but at least ameliorated by using this product. And when we think about carbon, we have to think that we are 18% carbon. Our structure is 18% carbon. And it's as fundamental to life as oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. And I think that by giving the body a very, very pure form of carbon in these pentagon and hexagon formations, you're doing more than just providing an antioxidant or a detoxifier. You're actually providing the building blocks of your RNA and DNA and ATP. And that may be another reason why we see such extraordinary results with this product. There's no other C60 product on the market that is this pure. All of the other ones, despite their label claims of being solvent-free, do in fact contain trace amounts of solvents in varying degrees, and sometimes other impurities depending on what their feedstock was for the carbon. There can be other metals in those rods that they burn to render this product. So the body seems to be hungry for carbon in some aspects. We hear a lot about molecular hydrogen these days, either breathing it or drinking it, and the benefits that has. And this, I would say, is quite similar in that regard. It's a different fundamental element, but every bit as necessary as oxygen and hydrogen.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Erica. Yeah, I can go over some of the anecdotal stories that we came in. I've got a list of them here, and we can talk about them and how they have helped these people. We got stories on these, so if you want to, talk specifically about your issue, give us a call. But people like with migraines or sinus conditions, they spray the topical mist on their forehead or on their temples, and they have seen, fairly quick results. So their migraine goes away or their headache goes away. People that have numbness, in their hands or their fingers, we put it on their arm and their muscle pain goes away. And they say, they go, oh, geez, look, I can feel my fingers now. And so we have a lot of peripheral nerve pain people that have that. Again, we want to talk about people's mental function improves. Any mercury toxicity that's in your body. Toxins, by definition, are electron stealers. They will steal an electron off of a molecule, causing damage. And that's what these free radicals are. They're just damage. And so the carbon will give an electron to a toxin also to neutralize it so it can't do any damage. And so that toxin, heavy metal, or whatever it may be, we have glyphosate, we have Agent Orange, we have many stories of different people with different, even snake bites, venom bites, bee stings and so forth like that. You put a little bit on that sting or that bite, and it will neutralize the toxin, so it can't do any damage to your body. Brown recluse, I mean, they're very, very toxic, necrotic to your tissue, and it just stops the necrosis. We've got pictures on our website that show that. We have things like people with eye issues, things that have, like if you got a bunch of cloudy lenses, let's call them, and you got a bunch of protein deposits in the lens of your eye, and everything starts to get cloudy as you get older. Well, what happens is the carbon-60 will give an electron to that protein that's in your eye, negate the charge, and that protein will have no longer, no need to stick around anymore because it doesn't have any charge. So it just naturally passes out your body. Now, I'm not going to say if you had cloudy lenses for 10 years, it's not going to reverse those damages because those proteins get so entangled. But if it's within a couple of years, your eyesight starts to fade or diminish a little bit. I've even had people like myself, for instance, I could read really good at arm's length, and now I can read good at half an arm's length. So my vision has also increased. We can talk about, things that float in your eye or dark spots or anything like that. Some people have shown quite a bit of pressure in the eyeball. That all goes away. I mean, it has. I'm not going to say it's going to work for everybody, but it has with other people, and we're all basically same biologically, so it should work for other people. People that have neck pain, back pain, hip pain, knee pain. I took it to an expo. We had people that came by the booth, and we tried it, people that had neck pain, knee pain, back pain. And, you sprayed it on there, and 100% of them saw pain relief within short order, before they left the show or sooner. Some of them, most of them, a lot of them in 2 minutes, 100% pain relief. So it doesn't really, it's not a numbing agent. It's not an anesthetic or anything like that. It actually corrects the problem, so it really helps with that. People that have like rotator cuff problems. I had people in there that, were going in for surgery, and they decided to put a rotator, to put the carbon-60 on topically over their shoulder. And their shoulder pain within 6 weeks was gone. And they said, well, I postponed my surgery. Then 6 weeks later, they postponed it again. They canceled it. They didn't do it. People, have gait disorders and so forth like that. They can walk better, foot pain. People who have sleep issues have reported much, much better sleep. Burns, people have a burn, like a 2nd-degree burn. They'll put this on topically, and their pain will gone the next day. They hardly notice that they've even had a burn. We've had people that have reported their bone density has gone up. Wrinkles, for the vanity out there, wrinkles, people that put it on their face, that old scars that have happened on their face or on their body, kind of like regenerate and kind of reform over. Carbon's a natural nutrient. It's a natural element in the body. That's why we eat food, is to get carbon. We get carbon out of anything that's organic, fish, food, meat, vegetables. They're all organic. Organic means of having carbon. So your body takes this carbon and processes it and puts it into these hexagons and pentagonal rings. And that's what the carbon-60 molecule is made out of, hexagons and pentagons. So your body doesn't have to process that food to get to the carbon. It's it's available. It's in these the bottles that we supply. I've had one gentleman that had a birthmark on his face. This is probably the most remarkable. He had a birthmark, and he had that from birth. And 6 days later, putting the carbon-60 on topically, that birthmark was 80% gone. And that's, I don't quite understand how that works with the birthmark, but you can see pictures on a website of that gentleman's face, a young boy about 12 years old from Vietnam. All toxins, seem to go away. Same thing with radiation. Ionizing radiation, like you get from gamma rays and X-rays and so forth like that. They seem to dissipate or go away. The damage that's caused by the radiation knocks an electron off of a molecule, and the carbon-60 will, by its nature, put the molecule of carbon, the electron will put it back onto the carbon 60 molecule. Excuse me, put it back onto the molecule missing an electron. So the net effect, when they tested mice, they irradiated them with some ionizing radiation. And the test mice, they died because it was a lethal dose, but the ones that did not that had the carbon 60 in them, the radiation did not even affect them. So it's a great anti-radiation product too, according to this mouse study. And that's published on our website. We got many things published on our website.
Oh wow, Bob, Erica, I couldn't say a word because there's just too much stuff there going on. You first of all, we're talking nanobiology here. We're talking about the next soldiers of bio hacking, literally. The stuff that goes into the nano level, the tiny minute level, cellular level, to actually get into the system and start working. You've almost covered every single health problem that we have on this planet, and from physical, visual, body, mind, the whole nine. And it sounds almost like not real. And the reason I'm saying that, most people will probably there's no way this could do all this. And it's funny because, Erica's talking, she's a bio, expert. You are an engineer and you've studied these things and you know this stuff well enough. Your formula is definitely, based on what you're stating, based on the testimonials and the people that you stated right now, and all this stuff. It is unbelievable to know that there is a product like this and we're not taking advantage of it. Let's be real about that, because we all, there's everybody out there is, if they're not looking about 100% their health, they're looking about their beauty, as you said, the vanity piece, or they're looking at maybe recovering from an illness or preventing an illness, something of that nature. But a lot of things that you mentioned are really happening to every one of us and every given day. And I love what you said about 70 is a new 50 without 60. I love whoever came up with that is awesome. I had to remember that formula, but it's perfect. But the idea is, you're talking about cancer. Really, the way you broke it down, I think that's the first time someone broke out cancer in the way you did it. And to your point, in a almost a cellular level, and how it happens, from an electron perspective, and how that one cell multiplies, and eventually it affects a whole bunch, and then it gets into a vital organ, and now we have problems. But what you stated is that the carbon 60, your formula, prevents most of these things, if not all of them. But even for people who might have problems already, it can almost reverses the process, or slows down the process in time. Even if I'm not mistaken, it can even stop it, period, and then keep the healthy cells. It is using natural process. To your point, we are carbon-based organisms, right? So this is definitely 100% something that is part of our life. We are literally made of these elements, and so it's really the advanced piece. Now, here's the biggest question that I have: is where is everybody from picking this product, and why is it that it's not? I'm assuming it's fairly new in the marketplace. I think that's one of the elements, and we're doing this so to bring it to the public and share with them the value of this. But I do know that you're going to have a lot of challenges with a lot of competition. Well, not competition, but people that have other products and things like that. There's always that, you're bringing something that's almost a cure. And I know you didn't say it's going to cure, but it's almost a cure. It's almost a solution to everybody's nightmare. Everybody would love to live healthier, happier, maybe, decrease the aging process. Brain function, forget about it. I love what you said about lawyers that need to process things faster and be able to be at the peak, be able to do that. I love what you said about athletes who are literally moving up the ladder. They may make it illegal. Be careful with that one, because they may start testing for it. Do you have C60 in your body? Because that may not be, you know how they do, right? Those testing, for all steroids and all those supplements that people that do to give them the boost. This could be one of the things. I hope that's not the case, but certainly someone's going to look at that, right? Because if it's really making that change, it is affecting other people, other, missions other than yours. Your mission is definitely to create a healthier, person, or be human being, if I would call it that way. But it's amazing that, first of all, I got to give you guys, all the the commands, the kudos for coming up with a product that's been in existence, as you said. It's not like it hasn't been, but your version of it, it's as pure as it can get. There's like 3.0 solvents, none the other stuff that can dilute the benefits of it. You even talked about radiation. I mean, the picture of space, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of radiation in space. I mean, we are literally absorbing radiation at small doses every day. That's just live. I mean, there's that. We can even get it from our bananas, and if we eat a lot of them, we'll probably get some of that. But the bottom line is, you have literally been able to create something that already existed in a formula that is varies. I mean, when you're talking about pain, and you just spray something on your pain, and now you that pain dissipates immediately. You talked about burns. I mean, UV. I mean, it's summertime right now, at least in the northern hemisphere. A lot of people are getting nicely brown in and by the sea. And you know what? A lot of people actually get severe burns. And sunburns. I mean, this stuff literally can make a difference. People need to know about it. I'm so excited because it is very rarely that you hear about a product that can do all these things. I mean, in one, I mean, by the way, Erica, I love what you said. You were skeptical in the beginning, but you had your mind as a bio expert. You always have to like figure out and see the proof, and test 1, test 2, test 3, and before you know, it's like there's got to be it, and then you relate it to it, and years later you cannot live without it. That's all awesome, stuff to hear. But a lot of people will probably be skeptical, but once they see the results, ultimately they're going to be happy. Now, here's a question, Bob. What if, is there anything that people should worry about? Because I think that's a big question, right? And then the next question after that is, what does the health, enthusiast and the doctor world state about it? Because and maybe even the supplement industry say about it, the FDA. So let's talk about those components, because people are probably going to have those questions, and we'd like to make their mind at ease.
Yeah, sure. As far as carbon goes, there's no toxicity to carbon. It's in every food that we have. So there's no negative, there's no downside. I've had people drink a whole bottle, and it's a 45-day supply. I had one guy literally, he was on his deathbed, and his brother brought him in a bottle. He drank a bottle. Next day, 3:00, he walked out of that hospital. I mean, it sounds too good to be true, but these are honest to God true stories that I've heard coming in. We have testimonies up on our website of people that, and they continue to come in. It's not a day goes by that I don't get a call from somebody that says, I had this problem. I took your product, and I noticed you noticed a difference with this product. And we challenge anybody, take it for 10 days, and you will see a difference. You will know whatever it is. We've had people that have had gray hair go back to their normal color, because it does have not everybody.
Up, dude.
not everybody, but it has for some people. It has. And as far as like the FDA, we don't make any claims that it cures anything. We can't. We can't talk about specific diseases. We can't mention a disease by name and say that it works for that. What we can talk about mutated cells. If some people like have a lump or something somewhere, like women have a lump on their breast, they put it on topically. Within 10 days, many of them report that goes down in size, and it keeps it, it shrinks it. So we've had many stories like that. I've got documented stories. Actually, we've got more of the medical profession coming on board now, because we've got doctors that actually take the product and like it, and we have a resellers program that people can purchase it. If you're a practitioner, you can get in, buy it wholesale, and turn around and sell it to your clients. We also have a drop ship program, which is like an affiliate, but it's different. But it's very much like an affiliate, where you can put it up on your website. They click on it, it comes through. Why? And I've been working on this project for 11 years now. And that's when I first developed the carbon 60 molecule that was clean. And I didn't know that it was going to be a good dietary supplement. I'm a materials engineer. I'm a scientist. I'm an aerospace engineer. I mean, but I did quit the aerospace business to go into health and human performance. I got tired of working in the defense industry, which is really offense, which makes bombs of mass destruction or components or parts of it. So that's why I moved into the health and human performance to help people out instead of hurting them. Let's put it that way. And those are some of the projects that I worked on, the altitude chamber, the running shoe for the springs. I've worked on some other projects too that nobody knows about. But this by far has been the biggest breakthrough. And the results that we see is, try, if you got an ailing parent or something like that, most people that are older, their free radical removal system slows down. Those are the ones that see the big benefit. We see it in young children too, like this one with the birthmark was only 12 years old. We have certain people, I can't say what the name of it is, but some children, they have, they don't function very good, and they take the product and it makes their brain function better, young children. That maybe have too much mercury in their body, or too much mercury thimerosal or something like that. All this damage that's coming out from some of these vaccines, people that they caught the problems that they're seeing now, that they're causing oxidative stress. And Erica's big on this. She knows more about it, and she researches this all the time. But the bottom line is that they cause oxidative stress. And with the carbon-60 molecule, it gets rid of oxidative stress. So it doesn't eliminate the problem, but it eliminates the condition. Let's put it that way. So we see quite a bit. And as far as the FDA goes, since we don't make claims on our website, we don't have anything that says that it cures anything. We're a dietary supplement. We can't say that. It has to go through a clinical trial, and then you really got to be a drug. But we're a dietary supplement, so we don't fit into that mold. There's no approval by the FDA. We do have guidelines, labeling. We got to label our product, what it is, to put a shelf life on it and everything like that. We have a good manufacturing practices. We have an independent company that comes in every year, goes through our process, goes through our records. We have lot number, traceability, all that kind of stuff. And, we have almost like a clean room condition when we're bottling, so we don't have any. And I worked in the aerospace business, where a clean room's a clean room. In the health industry, a clean room is not quite as clean. Aerospace is a lot cleaner. Let's put it that way. They pay more attention to how things contaminate and so forth.
Well, so Bob, it is obviously a known fact. Well, I don't know if it's obvious, but I know for me personally, I know that anything that the space industry, and the aeronautics in general, especially NASA and any other agencies, it's cutting edge technology, it's future tech. A lot of the tech we use probably has been, if not fact, kind of started there, and then it got eventually shared with the public, and then it became more industry that is utilized today, day to day. So that's definitely, and you're right. You have to have the top of the top, elements to be able to do the things that they do. I watched some of the astronauts literally from the ISS, doing their speeches and doing their little experiments and things. It's awesome stuff. And although there are skeptics there, I'm not even going there. Some people that just sometimes drive me nuts when I hear some of the nonsense I hear sometimes on the social media, but that's okay. We know what we know, and the facts are some of the facts. But I love what you said, and by the way, the reason I asked about the FDA, because it is a known fact, to people that are watching and listening, supplements, they're not drugs, therefore they have a different element, so therefore they don't have to go to the FDA. And I just asked that because, some people are like, well, is this, proven or approved? It's like you said, you have the labels, you have the manufacturing, you have to have those third parties do all the stuff, the labeling is correct, and disclaimers are there. And it is a supplement, because I haven't seen one supplement that's FDA approved yet to date. You can go to any GNC or any of the big marks, where they actually have, big, supplements and all the things that you use for gym and, vitamins and so on and so forth. You don't get any. Maybe there is one that I've used, but the ones at least that I've seen or used didn't have any. And now, what about the I guess the doctors community or the physicians community? The medical community.
Yeah,
because that's an area that there's also two paths there, right? There's some group that probably will jump on this, and there's probably another group that might not. So what's their feed on this?
Well, the doctors are starting to get on board now. We have a few doctors right now that use the product and they try it in their clinic or their practice. They purchase it and they give it to their patients. So doctors, yeah, in the last 2 years, doctors have taken notice. Now, Carbon 60 has been out in 2012. And so as far as a dietary supplement goes, I came onto the market about 2013 with my product because everybody else had Carbon 60 out there. There was somebody in Czechoslovakia and somebody in California selling it as a supplement. And I said, well, they both got contaminants in it, so mine's clean. Let me do some research, and I did some studying, but it's only been in the public eye for about 5 years. I mean, I used to go door to door to chiropractors, to natural doctors, and so forth like that, to get them to, hey, try the product, see what happens. And I go, oh wow. When then we started, my goal was 1 bottle a day, to get to sell 1 bottle a day back then. And then we had an influencer talk about it on the internet, and boom, we just exploded, right away, and we've been steady ever since. So it's been a great, and people, I get customers. It's not a one-time product. If you buy this product, you like it, you try it, you will come back and buy it again because it's an ongoing. You can't, people that take it for, like, say, a few months or something, and they feel great, they're doing better, they stop taking it. You still have toxins in the air, food, and water we can't get away from. So those come back into your body. Maybe it's the water you're drinking, your water source, maybe it's your water supply, maybe it's your food that you're eating that is sprayed with toxins. You don't know where they're coming in from exactly, but they come in from air, food, and water. The air is polluted. No matter where we go, there's more pollutants now than there were a long time ago. So
I mean, everything around us is polluted. I mean, unfortunately, that's a fact. I mean, whether it's your water, your air, the tools that you use at home, everything at work, whatever you are, there's contaminants, and they're definitely talking about clean, environment. There's no clean environment where we live today. You got to be in the middle of nowhere to actually maybe have that. But I think the majority of the human race is actually literally somewhere where it's not really that clean.
yeah,
Sadly, it is sad, but it is reality.
Yeah, I take it every day. I take 2/3 of a drop of the recommended dosage. Sometimes if I have a big workout, I go do some yard work that's physical and heavy. My muscles get sore. I'll take an extra dose at night or something like that, to do that. But no, but if I stop taking it, I go off of it for like a couple of weeks. I'll revert back to my old self, and I'll go, gosh, I feel tired. I feel old. I feel my muscles are sore. And so yeah, it's a good product for, try it. Try a bottle. It's a 45-day supply. You'll be convinced within 45 days, within quicker than that, to see how it improves. In age spots, for example, you put it on there, and a couple times in a month, a lot of people have shown that they've gone away. We have people in the office that done it. They did one hand, not the other. And you can actually see the diminishing the age spots, the brown spots on the hands going away.
Well, so there was one thing that you mentioned that someone can misconstrue, which is the idea of if you stop, then the effects are gone. And I get the concept that you're still exposed, therefore you will recoup, all the bad things. However, someone can say, well, it's a habit forming type of supplement that I have to keep, and I get attached to. Is that even a thing?
No, there's no addiction to it or a habit forming. I mean, of course, it's mental. You can always do that. Say, oh, I like the product, I like it, but there's no physical addiction to it or anything like that. I've even had people that have been on Oxycontin and things like that had an addiction. They started taking the Carbon 60, they lost their addiction. They didn't even want to take the Oxycontin. Things like that. I mean, I got stories. Call us. I'll tell you stories, anything you want to hear about. And I can tell you, if you got a particular situation, I can tell you something very similar that happened. And then try the product and see what you like it. See how it works for you. We have like a 98% success rate, which is unheard of. It's not, most drugs only have a 30% success rate, and they put them on the market. We have like, we're up in the upper 90s. 98% people take it, they like it, they come back, and they call me up, and they're lifelong friends. I got friends, we ship all over the world. I got friends all over the world now and all over the country. So it's amazing.
So Bob, now I know it's available on your site. Is it available in the marketplace other than the site? And
No,
also do you have like a subscription model?
yes, we have a subscription that you can buy it. We ship it to you. Free shipping, by the way. So we ship it out either once a month, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, every 2 months, whatever you decide to choose. We ship it out to you. We do have doctors. We have resellers out there. We have a map of the world on our perch, our shop now button. Locate a reseller. You might find one near you. We have them all over the United States, so you can go down to the store and buy it today. If there's somebody near you, some places 200, 300 miles apart, but we different countries, we ship all over the world to different countries. So it's available.
I think there's plenty to be done with C60, and I think there's a lot more folks out there that may not have heard about this, and they deserve to hear about it and give it a try. I mean, let's put it this way: people are trying different things because they sometimes desperate for some solution to their health and just well-being and wellness, right? And finding something that is like one pill or one drop that can make that happen is almost impossible. I mean, we hear about those units, that multivitamins that have so many things, but that's one thing that just compensates for the vitamins, nutrients that you need, but not necessarily for the work that you need as far as the healthy piece of yourself, right? And that's something that you're not going to get all the time.
Yeah, one bottle is one dropper full, which is just 2 squeezes of the bulb on top. You pull it up, it fills it up a little bit over halfway. I don't know if you can see that against my shirt.
We do, yeah.
And it's black, it's carbon. And you just put it in your mouth. There's no taste to it. Use from the sunflower oil, but there's no taste. There's no bad taste or anything like that. And each serving size, it's got over 100 billion carbon 60 molecules. So they flood your they go everywhere in your body. I mean, they're so small. People don't realize how small they are. They're like I said, 200,000 times smaller than a red blood cell. So they're highly bioavailable, and they're clean, and there's no negative, there's no downside, there's no side effects, there's no negative interactions, there's no contraindications with any medications or anything like that. It's what your body needs.
I was going to ask about that, so you covered that. Thank you. Because that's another thing. Side effect. Is there going to be is my urine going to be black now? And people get all worked out about things. But so I love that it goes in, just basically dissolves within the cells and starts doing the magic, and the rest is history. And I can't wait until I test it on myself. I have to say that much. And you know what? Hey, if I like it, folks, I want to talk about it, and really, I mean, I can just tell you this. I'm always looking for what's healthier, for us.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about nutrition and wellness all the time. And of course, this, by the way, again, there's other products out there that can benefit you different ways, but it to your point, there's no interaction. It doesn't take away from the others or other supplements you may have. So yes, take as much stuff that's going to keep your body operational in the best way and shape and form for as long as you can. And that's the bottom line. I mean, living long is great, and that's everybody's dream, but living long healthy, that's the better dream. And I think we need to get there.
Well, when we're done with the show here, send me an email, and I'll give you my email, and I'll send you what we call a dual pack. It's a bottle of the oil and the water, and you try it out yourself, and you see. I'm sure you'll see. But my email is bob@c-60.com. So it's just bob@c-60.com. So, and our website is www.c-60.com. And if anybody wants to call us, give us a call at 720-600-6040, and we'll answer the phone with a live person.
Oh, I love that. No bots, right? All right. Well, listen, I mean, I really, you've covered a lot of grounds, and I don't think of anything else that you've missed. We talked about the benefits, the source, the reason, how it works, and the different types of, I guess, just behaviors that will give and enhance in terms of performance and everything else. And that's really, I think you've touched on everything that makes people happy today. And what I love about it, it can be everywhere around the world, so people can actually benefit from this. There is no side effects, so that's even much better to hear, because that's another piece where people get a little, I'm not sure how it's going to do. So you've covered it all. I mean, Well, I have to just, like I said, I mean, an awesome product. Hearing about it is definitely there. I mean, testing it will be the next phase, but you already have enough testimonials, enough customers to prove that. I could tell you, I'm sure if there was anything bad, we would have heard about it already. You know how that is, right? Sometimes that's the quickest one. You hear, probably about bad more than good. So that's important. We need to make sure that this is a product that gets in front of people and for them to see it and test it for themselves.
Well, I appreciate you letting us come on the show, and I thank Erica for coming on and talking about it. And we'll look forward to talking to you in the future.
Yes, sir. Well, Erica, thank you so much for being with us. You've been quiet back there.
Oh yeah, I've been listening. It's all true. I can vouch for Bob. I've seen it work miracles in people I know too. It's really remarkable. And it's just a very foundational product. So, as I said, we're 18% carbon, and I think our bodies are hungry for it. A pure form, a pure building block for your RNA, DNA, ATP, natural detoxifier that works within the cell, not just and a mitochondrial antioxidant. And that's where most of your free radicals are coming from.
Listen,
so don't hesitate to give it a try.
I won't. I'm just like you. I like to test things, and hey, for the best benefit. I mean, the worst is that I'm still in the same place. The better, I'm going to be better, right? So there's
exactly.
Always a plus. I look at the positives, right? But yeah, well, Erica, thank you so much for your input here and testimonies as well. I mean, people always need to hear that. I mean, obviously, some people say, well, Bob is the founder. He has a benefit from this, but you actually are really a consumer, and that's a different story. When you hear for someone who actually used it for their own health and they've seen the results. So I really thank you both actually for joining and bringing this to our audiences and really to the world, as a matter of fact, because I think there's a lot more that can. I mean, I think this one. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's
I think so too.
Young, older, mid-age, doesn't matter. Any gender would work. Any type of potential inflammation, and we have a lot of those every day. If you actually work at the gym and you're doing a lot of exercise, you're sore and stuff, this will work. We all kind of work somewhere, therefore our brains need to function properly. This works. So I mean, we can enumerate for another hour, and the benefits will not, we're not going to shy away from them. They're going to be plenty. All right. So any last, I guess, words of wisdom that you want to share about health and wellness while we're on the topic?
Well, not really, just that, take care of your health. I think this will help significantly. It attacks, like I say, most all health issues, not attacks, but, helps them. Because they're all based on molecules missing electrons. And if you consider the carbon-60 a bottle full of electrons, that's basically what it is. The carbon's a carrier for the electron. Your body runs on electrons, the flow of electrons, the electron transport chain. Voltage is here, energy, voltage, there's another aspect that would helps it work by generating voltage in your body also, because that's what electrons do. So it just helps everything flow better and work better.
That's it. Erica, anything from you?
No, that's pretty accurate. I would say that it's an excellent product to guard against incoming toxins, and it's just something you should do daily to stave off the toxins that we're being assaulted with.
Actually, I do have one thing. I'm sorry. Thank you, Erica. And this may be technical, but so Bob, question for you. Have you seen any during the pandemic? I mean, that was a big, nutrients and things like that. Was there any spike in maybe the utilization of C60? And are there any testimonies from that era, from that time? I mean, I call it era. It's really fairly recent, but from those days.
Well, yeah, it's an antiviral product. Actually, carbon-60. There's a medical. I think there's a National Institute of Health. The NIH says how carbon-60 actually, due to its geometry of a virus, is spherical in shape. The carbon-60 being the spherical in shape itself will get inside of the virus and render it not to be able to produce. So the virus goes away. So, and that's with the HIV. So that's documented reports, and we got them published on our website. So we have had people that had all the symptoms of, viral infection that we just went through, and the next day they've improved significantly, completely. And they're, I've had people call me and tell me stories how it's helped them, fairly. It works very quickly. Let's put it that way. It's like throwing magnets together. They stick. It's done. You don't have anything else to do.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. I mean, I had that question earlier. I kind of skipped my mind, but because that is the biggest event that we've had recently that everybody suffered from pretty much, and understanding this can really be a solution to help that problem instantly. But I love what Erica said. This is a guard. You just throw it in, and then basically it's a shield. I mean, that's literally it's literally what you guys did on the carbon side of the shuttles. Now you're doing it for the human body. All right. Well, Bob, Erica, thank you so much for being with us today. And I really enjoyed your presentation and just the talk here. And I know this is something that I want to enjoy myself as a person. And so I look forward to testing it out, and definitely we'll stay in touch. Folks, we're coming to the end of the show. Hope you benefit from this. Check out the website. It will be on the description of the show. Link up to it. Look at the testimonials. See for yourselves. Test it out. I mean, it doesn't hurt to test anything that is potentially beneficial and take it from there. All right. That being said, I'm Hurricane H. Bye, everyone. We'll talk soon.
There's a lot of talk all over the internet these days about the remarkable benefits of Carbon 60, and baby boomers are especially excited about it. Whatever generation you're in, if you want more energy, better health, and a boost in vitality, we invite you to try Greska's Carbon 60, a stunning development in free radical destruction. Being much smaller in size than conventional antioxidants derived from fruits and vegetables, it is far more bioavailable to quickly mend the toxin-crippled cells in your body. Greska's Carbon 60 is the only C60 product that is made without the use of undesirable solvents. The only one. Greska's Carbon 60 was developed by a brilliant NASA carbon scientist, and 95% report positive results from this Nobel Prize-winning technology in just 4 days. Visit c-60.com. That's c-60.com, or call 720-600-6040.